Okay, so the fourth missional habit starts with L, and it's to listen to the Holy Spirit. Now, I recognize that this is going to be one of the tougher of the habits to kind of get your head around. Most people get what it is to bless someone or to eat with someone. And of course, we get what it is to learn about Jesus. But in this one, I want to encourage you to consider the importance of habitually building a rhythm into your life where you create the space to actually listen to the promptings of the Holy Spirit. So the fourth missional habit is to do this once a week. Create enough space in your life where you can sit silently and hear the promptings of the Spirit. The reason why I'm suggesting this is because missional people, when we're engaging in the world, when we're engaging with unbelief, with injustice, with brokenness, when we're connecting to the kind of the rhythms and the lives of other people outside of the church, we really need to know what the Spirit would be saying to us in those contexts. Like, think of it this way. Just imagine that you can live your life along a spectrum where at one end you are completely withdrawn from the world, all your friends are Christians, everything you do is in the church, you have no engagement outside of the church. I know that's a creepy thing to imagine, but just imagine at one end of the spectrum, no connection to the world. And then at the other end of the spectrum, I want you to imagine complete immersion in culture. You live just like everybody else. There's no distinction between you and just all the other suburban or middle-class people that you happen to live with. Now, most people listening to this would say, well, neither of those are good places to be, and I would agree. It's not good to be completely withdrawn from the world, and of course, we're not called to look just like everybody else. The place actually we're called to be is somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, balancing our engagement in the world, but also our difference from the world. Or as Jesus says, to be in the world, but not of the world. Now, the reason why I tell you all that, because I probably know you already know it, is this. That's the hardest place to find. Because if you're just totally withdrawn and only hanging out with Christians, all the other Christians basically show you how you should live. You haven't really got to think about it. Likewise, if you're just living like all the unbelievers that you're hanging out with, you haven't got to think about how you should conduct yourself. You just go with the flow. It's this space here in the middle. That's the tough place to find. How do you know whether you're meant to engage in this way, resist that, embrace this, laugh at that, contribute to this, resist doing that? I mean, how do you figure that out? There's no rule book. The only way you can know it is if you learn to listen to the Holy Spirit, to listen to the Spirit's promptings, to listen to the Spirit correcting you, rebuking you, encouraging you, to learn to listen to the Spirit saying to you, you shouldn't have stayed at that party that long, or you should have stayed at that party longer. To listen to the Spirit saying to you, you should have kept talking to that person, or you should have stopped talking to that person. You shouldn't have laughed at that joke. You should have laughed at that joke. I find the Spirit either encourages me, or corrects me, or rebukes me, or prompts me to think about how I need to follow somebody up or pursue a conversation even further. These are things that just wouldn't normally come to my mind if I was just conducting my normal lifestyle. I have to create the space to hear the Spirit's voice. So if you're going to be a highly missional person, the only way to do it effectively is to listen to the Spirit, and you've got to create the space in your life for the Spirit to be able to speak to you in those kinds of ways.